name is Carson Manning. Thank you for the opportunity to allow me to present the key findings from my analysis of the Girard Incorporated Urban Park Redesign Project. My objective today is to summarize the challenges faced by the team, outline the proposed strategic plan, detail how we will measure success, the expected outcomes, and finally present how I will measure my own success when leading teams and what I can do if my efforts are not proving successful. The first part is identifying the problem, which ended up being burnout and avoidance. The team was tasked with redesigning a high-profile urban park and faced with two fundamental corrosive challenges: unequal workload distribution and a profound fear of conflict. The symptoms were severe. We saw poor resource distribution, a lack of accountability, and escalating tension. One of the key team members from the project, Margaret, became the most heavily relied upon. She pulled more than her share of the work because other team members were procrastinating on theirs. The team knew that she would complete their work for them because she knew how reliable she was. This cycle was enabled by Margaret, who avoided saying no because she didn't want to seem unhelpful by the rest of the team. When issues arose, they were handled in a passive-aggressive way, where the team members would complain directly to Margaret or the project lead instead of confronting the problem as a team together, leaving many conflicts unresolved. This dynamic reflects a cognitive bias known as the ostrich effect. In the ostrich effect, individuals avoid harmful situations hoping the conflict will just disappear. The ostrich effect got its name from the fact that ostriches bury their heads into the ground to hide from any threats. I learned about this concept directly in the case study article, Leadership Bias, the Hidden Enemy of Successful Leaders. This concept demonstrates that a leader's hands-off approach, while sometimes appropriate, was actively detrimental to the team. Which meant that basically there was a complete lack of any structure for the team. Next is the proposed strategic plan. The strategic plan is designed to immediately address the imbalance of the team by promoting structure, communication, and fairness. First is setting foundational norms. The first strategy is implementing clear ground rules for the team, which covers attendance, conflict resolution, project approach, and other boundaries for the team, which Bright and Courts advocated for in the text. Next is fair work distribution. To solve the workload imbalance, the leader must conduct initial one-on-one meetings with each team member to assess their specific skills as well as their current capacity. This will allow to establish a gift culture between the leader and the member. This can ensure that tasks are delegated based on talent and skills, which in turn distributes the work fairly and efficiently. Next is performance management. To combat underperformance, we can clarify tasks by using a performance improvement plan, which features the SMART goals. We can also use positive reinforcers to recognize small successes and reinforce expectations to boost morale and motivation. Ethically, this plan relies on the concept of justice decision-making. Justice is served when every individual is treated equally and fair procedures are implemented, such as considering individual talents when assigning roles. Furthermore, helping Margaret and others set healthy boundaries also aligns with the virtue ethics, which focuses on consistency and moral character. Next up is the expected outcomes and measurement for the board. The expected outcomes are based on both productivity and organizational value. The aim for the team is to achieve cohesion. When this is achieved successfully, They can apply their diverse talents and critically ensure individual boundaries are respected. This whole approach is rational because it leverages the integration and learning perspective, recognizing that diverse life experiences and skills are valuable resources for organizational success, helping the team work through conflict at any point in the project's timeline due to various experiences of each individual team member as well as their unique backgrounds. We will measure success also by using a 5-step measurement framework. Our key performance indicators also will include traditional metrics like employee productivity and qualitative metrics like the customer satisfaction survey upon project completion. We'll specifically track some of the metrics I encountered in the course materials, including the customer satisfaction survey, organizational value, which is how the project contributed financially and strategically, and critically, the team satisfaction survey, which gauges morale and the overall work environment for the team. We can also maintain regular monitoring through scheduled one-on-one meetings between the leader and each team member to ensure that accountability and expectations are upheld. In conclusion, this project has been invaluable in clarifying the necessary behaviors for effective leadership. Before taking this course, I felt I had an understanding of leadership, but I now see the deep importance of empowering the teams I lead. In Brighton Court's article called the Trait Approach to Leadership, there was an example that resonated with me, which was in group interaction, high self-monitors are the individuals who attempt to organize the group and provide it with the structure needed to move the group toward goal attainment. I had a personal experience with this. Back when I first started in 4-H, I was a member of my 4-H club. But prior to becoming an officer, the officers at that time had a very difficult time running club meetings and running other club events and functions. It was very disorganized, and the club members did not know their role in the club and what they needed to do. I realized that without structure, people will struggle, and especially the team, in any environment. I then ensured that when I became an officer, I would not repeat those same mistakes and implemented structure and clear communication. Therefore, the changes I planned to incorporate into my own leadership practices will focus on intentional balance with strategies and behaviors that will ensure structure. I will consciously implement both the consideration structure, which fosters open communication and recognizes people's feelings, and the initiating structure, which actively directs work, scheduling tasks, and reinforcing standards. The need to balance these two approaches was a core finding from the Ohio and Michigan studies. I know this balance will be successful because as the leader, I must now take charge of what tasks need to be done to ensure we efficiently use resources. I can commit to enhancing my critical thinking also for conflict resolution and staying vigilant about unconscious bias and the latest practices to combat it. I can measure my own personal success primarily through the team satisfaction survey metric. If my team is cohesive, motivated, and achieving their goals, I know my leadership style is working. I can address any shortcomings that may arise by immediately moving on to using my project evaluation technique. I can review the team's progress and make adjustments to the team's workload or reassess tasks with each team member who may be struggling. They can be reassigned to an area which may suit them better, and as well as myself as a leader to ensure that they have everything they need to be successful. As of the project, I will then document what worked and what didn't work. I plan to use tools like the satisfaction surveys from both the team and customers, as Petrika recommended in the text, to gather specific feedback on where the leadership or communication fell short, ensuring we learn and improve for the next project. This commitment to structured fairness and data-driven improvement will not only improve the conflict with the Gerard Inc. team, but will also serve as model for promoting high-performing, empowered teams across organizations. Thank you.